Boom. We're live right there. It's not popping up on Instagram, but while we're going through this process, it should be going live everywhere else. What's going on, everybody? Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here, and we are live right now talking about the indie breakdown. So, hope everybody's having a wonderful evening right now. I am really energetic at the moment. So, anyway, we're going live right now. Our Facebook group, the Indie Breakdown Versus, we are doing an 8v8 right now, and several publishers and creators have put their characters on the line. And we are going to be discussing our personal predictions as who we think could win an indie versus matchup. So really quick, let me get my stuff in order. Ba-bum. I'm trying to see if it is popping up on Facebook. There we go. I don't know why the pinned comment is still showing Tales from Midnight 2 when that's like over a year ago at this point. All right, so I'm sharing this in the Indie Versus group. Bear with me just a second. Well, second off, how's everybody doing today? Am I able to see the comments and stuff? Yikes. I'm going to pull stuff up really quick, but anybody that's watching all the good stuff, how are y'all doing today? I am live on StreamYard, so forgive me if I don't see particular comments and stuff like that. I don't have my moderator today. My lovely, lovely wife is, there we go. My lovely, lovely wife is busy at the moment, so I do not have a moderator. But that's okay. We are going to figure this out. I wanted to go live. I want to talk about these predictions of who I think is winning an indie versus matchup. I need to bear with me because I want to make sure I catch everybody really quick. Boom. Okay, bet. I see people joining. What's going on? Bastet's in there. Big Von's in there. 7 others have joined. Welcome. I don't see anybody on Facebook and stuff. I needed to pull up YouTube. I'm taking entirely too long to do this. I'm gonna message someone really quick. Hold on. I might have an out, y'all. But anyway, yeah. Anybody that's watching this stuff right now, how is everybody doing right now? We have quite a few characters to kind of go over, several teams that we need to discuss, all that jazz. So, I'm sending an invite to several people that may be interested in joining in on this conversation. All right, cool. That is done. Anyway, everybody that's just joining in, welcome. Of course, Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here, and we are going to be discussing some predictions as it relates to the current indie versus matchup, not the official season. Let me go ahead and preface this. It's not the official season right now. The official season is over. Stand by because we are doing a scenario for the matchup between Evorlee and Jupiter Man. So stay tuned for that. That will officially end season 2. The breakdown section's over. We did the creator class. We are now moving on to that final scenario video coming soon. If you guys want to see how the interviews went, how the creator class went, how the conversations, all that other good stuff, everything's available on the YouTube. And of course, if you're not in the group, we have a Facebook group, which is called the Indie Breakdown /Versus. We'll have the page up in just a second. But yeah, so just diving into that a bit. So, of course, the Indie Breakdown is a show where we break down all your favorite indie comic book characters' powers, stats, abilities, and get them ready for, again, the indie versus matchup. I hope I'm doing good of stalling while I get this thing pulled up. Boom. All right, because I wanted to make sure I caught any and all comments and stuff like that. So I got my YouTube open over here. I got Facebook and stuff open. I got Instagram and stuff open. Hope everybody's doing great today. Anyone watching can see that. Albert, God Daddy, everybody that's popping in, welcome. I know I see definitely a couple people. Designs by Jael, Motung, something like that. I think I got that right. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. We're going to talk predictions. We're going to talk about what everything looks like. So I'm adding to the stage my own screen. Boom. So matchup. We've got Prince Jackson's Elementals versus the Paladins. I'm going to speak on the Paladins first because I've interviewed both groups. I've interviewed Prince Jackson. I've also interviewed Calvin Chambers. Prince Jackson is the creator, founder, what have you, of Eminent Comics. So definitely check out Eminent Comics, as well as Eminent Comics. And Calvin Chambers is the creator of Icarus Metro. So check both of those guys out. Of course, again, join the Indie Versus or Indie Breakdown Indie Versus group so you can get to know some of your favorite creators and get a more in-depth look at your favorite indie comic book characters. So again, I'm going to start with the Paladins because I am more familiar with them, as when we did the interview with him, we actually dove into quite a few of these characters. And as a matter of fact, can I play the no, we're not even gonna play a video. Y'all gonna listen to this awesome voice. But here we go. So starting from the top, like his characters here, and you can see my mouse, right? Can y'all see my mouse? Yeah. So the character in the front of the Paladins, we've got Simone Stone. Simone Stone, and you know what? Instead of freehanding it, here's her abilities right here based on what he's got. She's a 21-year-old African-American writer. She's a demi-human, or the demi-human, of the druid celestial called Wraith. She can bring inanimate images to life and summon spells using magic bestowed on her from the Wraith. So yeah, she could really create any and everything, if I remember correctly, from that conversation during the interview. She really can just create anything. Think old girl from My Hero that's able to create like solid objects and stuff like that. But like imagine like she has access to a book or whatever like that. And she doesn't necessarily have to understand the creation in order to create it, if that makes sense. So vastly powerful, can really just do anything. Viscosity is able to basically utilize liquid metal. So that's pretty doggone cool. So obviously he's shaping it to his way. He can make it as an armor, of course, as you see here, blades. I imagine if I'm going to give you guys an example as to how he works, think about the enemy on Terminator 2, and that's pretty much what you're getting there, in my personal opinion. Let's see who was next. Hold on. I'm scrolling through two different computers here, forgive me. Next up we had Catalyst. So she has like the strongest flames in burst and can control flames. And apparently now, I didn't realize this during the interview, but her powers are of a Spire Spirit, Raw, where she can call on a pink flame that can destroy all matter and heal all matter. That's crazy. So like unless the elementals have something or a stronger than matter itself, like they're done. If she can destroy all matter, and we can talk more about scaling that if you would. Okay, Juice is fire. Juice actually had her own original series on Webtoons. Calvin, if you're in here, correct me if I'm wrong. But she had her own can y'all hear me? Please confirm if y'all can hear me. I want to hold on, testing. Oh, you know what? It might echo. Yikes. Hold on, bear with me. Testing. Yeah, okay, y'all can hear me. The mic's working. Okay, cool. So anyway, so Juice, yeah, she had her own series and all other stuff. I see y'all popping in there. Mad Cloud Comics, welcome. Andre, Stranded, Eugene, everybody that's popping in, welcome. So again, we're talking about Calvin Chambers, Icarus Metro characters right now. Currently in a versus match. We're doing an 8v8 launched by Lonzo Star of Concrete Comics. We're kind of running this thing together here. He has selected the teams that are going against each other today on this 8v8. We're only doing this until 8 o'clock in regards to the current matchups. There'll be more tomorrow, but they're going to need your votes and stuff like that to determine who wins the Indie Versus today. So Juice is basically, she can control all things lightning. So that's pretty straightforward. But she is the next successor to Zeus to become a lightning god. So obviously this isn't just, oh, I'm using lightning. She's not like Cole McGrath. Like obviously she's stronger than the dude from Infamous. So let's move on to the next character really quick. So pretty tough character so far, right? So really quick recap for everybody that's joining in. Simone Stone basically can create anything that she needs to out of these constructs and stuff like that. Viscosity has liquid metal, so think akin to like the antagonist on Terminator 2. Was it the T-800, T-1000, whichever one. Catalyst, she can control pink flame. She has a fire spirit or raw, so she can heal and destroy all matter. And then back to Juice, who's basically about to be the successor to Zeus. Next up, we have Matches, who what can he do? Power of mystical boxing and sunspots, where his flame supersedes all flames and is the sister Catalyst, which Catalyst, again, is a character that we just talked about that had those other flames and stuff like that. So that's definitely a tag team that's going to be crazy. Very similar abilities with the flame walls and all that other stuff. But he also has the abilities of a shaman where he can manipulate energy. So that's dangerous. Not only does he have such an affinity with fire, but also with energy manipulation. And if he supersedes all flames and her flames come from the fire spirit of Ra, This dude is absolutely ridiculous. We're not going to look so much at these numbers at the moment, only because you guys don't know the power system or what have you. And I'm not sure if it lines up with the power system that we're utilizing in group. So I'm going to not pay attention to that at the moment. Again, the matchup right now is between Eminent Comics, the Elementals, versus Icarus Metro's, the Paladins. Percy, I don't even have to click on him, but I will. Percy has power over the net, and dark matter. So he is pretty doggone dangerous, because what I always kind of think about in regards to how he could pull people into cyberspace is like how Obito's able to pull people into his own dimension, but instead on the internet, right? So how do you escape that realm if he doesn't allow you? And that's what always makes it dangerous to fight against spatial manipulation as characters. That's what makes that so dangerous every single time. And really quick, if anybody just jumping in, of course, we're live on Instagram, we're live on Facebook, and we're live on YouTube as well. So if you guys aren't familiar, we do have YouTube. We are everywhere. So definitely check us out on Midnight Comics on the YouTube, of course, on Facebook and Instagram. Wherever you're not watching, go ahead and follow us on there. So that was a real quick plug, really quick. But yeah, between being able to control basic spatial manipulation and minor dark matter manipulation, he is very dangerous. But I think the thing that makes him the most dangerous is how he's able to pull people into that realm, either trap them there or just how he's able to traverse and what have you. Next up, we have was Hisoka in the picture? Is that Hisoka right there? Well, regardless, we've got the Landman, right? I'm actually not familiar with this character. He wasn't one of the characters that we did in the initial interview, but he is a part of this matchup right now. So, 30-year-old Asian American man whose appearance became goat-like when his powers awakened as a kid. This caused him to be an easy target for the criminal organization named Cerberus, as they trained him to be an assassin alongside Catalyst. He later became a member of the Ordnance and associate of the Paladins, and is still the best friend to Catalyst. And again, for anybody that's just joining in, we are talking about a versus match that's taking place in our group, the Indie Breakdown / Versus, on Facebook. So if I'm going too fast, excuse me, I'm going too fast. Y'all need to go back. Y'all want to read some of this stuff. Please do, because what I'm hoping that you guys do, I'm inviting you now to join the group so that you can vote. Obviously, you can just either do a like right here for the Elementals or a heart for the Paladins. And I'm trying to talk a little bit fast because this is only live until 8 o'clock. And then the match will be decided, and then we're going to move on to the next matchups tomorrow. So I meant to go live a little sooner so we had more time. But I'm going to try to speed blitz this. So that was Landman just a second ago. We have Jason Cross up next. Keizai's day-to-day. He is a member of the Paladins, demi-human that controls ice and harnesses the power of the celestial Yuki, the ice princess. So what's neat, because I already know that the Elementals have an ice person in the form of Keone. So that's going to be cool. He's getting this power from the celestial known as the ice princess. Funny enough, Keone is known as the Ice Queen. So we're going to dive into that a little bit. Again, we're not going to pay attention to these numbers, extra strength, agility, and stuff like that, unless we get confirmation that this is based off of the power scaling sheet that we utilize here in the group. So let's move on really quick. We have got Jasmine Day. I think she's just a cop. Yeah, she's a regular human, so she doesn't have any powers or anything like that. So nothing notable. She is pretty cunning, though. She's pretty cunning, and she's not necessarily able to keep up, but she's there. But then yeah, and this guy here, oh gosh, power of the wind. So he's able to manipulate wind. So okay, cool. So the Paladins. Quick recap: we can create constructs out of nothing at will in the form of Simone Stone. We have oh my gosh, I forgot her name just that quick. Catalyst. We have Catalyst over here that's able to create flames. I believe that's oh, that's not Simone Stone right here. I'm bugging. That might be Juice. That's Simone Stone in the background right there. So can create constructs or what have you. Basically Zeus's successor, dude that can put you into the dark web essentially, and use spatial manipulation, put you and trap you into the internet. Viscosity is pretty much the T-1000. This is Landman here, who again, what was his powers? I think I forgot just that quick. Landman is just Himothy. He's just strong, I'm assuming. Sonic voice and boxing. Okay. Then you got is that the brother of Catalyst? That was the brother of Catalyst, right? Yeah, matches. So we got two fire manipulators here. We have a wind guy. We've got an ice guy. Like, they've got a solid squad. And this is a good matchup. So kudos to Lonzo for putting this matchup together, because both of these teams well, control the elements. Everybody here are elementals essentially, except for Simone Stone and the cop and the guy that does the well, I guess, and the guy that does the manipulation and stuff like that, the dark matter manipulation, as well as the spatial manipulation. So we're gonna move over to the elementals really quick. And again, if I'm going entirely too fast, it's fine. Join the group, read through it yourself, and place your vote. There is a matchup that I really do want to get to and talk to in a second. But we're gonna move on really quick. Keone, like I told you guys before, that she is in the middle right there. She's got thermal kinesis, being able to lower temperature around her. She has advanced cryomancy, can create and shape ice at will, create ice shards and hail at will. Ice manipulation, superhuman strength, being able to lift 2 to 5 tons, superhuman durability, stamina, and endurance. The lower the temperature, the more physically powerful she becomes. So yeah, very dangerous. I hope it's my battle. It is your battle, Nathan. It is actually. Because y'all have some really, really, really strong characters. And I can't wait to dive into and share that to anybody that may not already be a part of the group and talk more about that. He's also got a character named Hurricane, which obviously what these matchups are going to be. This character whose name escapes me just that quick. Jason Cross is obviously going to be the one that's going against Keone. My prediction is, in regards to physical strength, going blow for blow and all that stuff, that is not Jason. That's Jasmine. I mean, his strength, again, we're not going to pay attention to the numbers too much, but obviously he's not a wimp if his strength is maxed out in regards to the Ignis Metro stuff. Of course, we can't, based on this, right? Again, I don't know if this is going in regards to the power sheet that we have, but this is, that would be the matchup, Jason versus Keone. And I got to say, honestly, I think that matchup goes to Keone. She now, again, there's not a lot of showings right now of some of these characters, so that's why in the main show we would go based on not the feats and everything like that. Whoa, the Paladins look cool. Hell yeah, they look cool. What's going on, Calvin? So so perfect timing, actually. So Calvin's in here in the chat really quick on Facebook. I want to know, was the numbers on here based off of the power scaling sheet that we have in the group, or this was already something, or was this already something that you had in regards to the power system in your verse? If you can confirm that for me. Eminent Comics said, let's get it. Yes, sir. But yeah, let me know. Let me know. Let me know. But I see them doing a matchup, and at the moment, Paige, what's going on, man? That's perfect timing. We're going through as quickly as possible because this technically is going to end at 8. It might go a little bit over. We want people to come in and vote. So while y'all are in here, please share this with your fans, everything like that. Let's get them in the group so that they can vote for these characters, because we got something awesome coming up in regards to this. So have them vote. Like for Elementals, heart for Paladins. We're going to move on to the other team, and we're going to move on to the Elementals right now and then move on to the other versus matches. We're not going to take too much time here, but please continue to share this live and invite people to read about y'all's characters here, and let us know who would win an indie versus matchup. So Hurricane is easily going to go against Melancholy. Jesus. Funny enough, Calvin, I don't know why, but I always want to call Viscosity Melancholy and Melancholy Viscosity for some reason. So they're next to each other in the animation joint that you had for one scene, I think. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But regardless, I see Melancholy preparing to fight against Hurricane. Hurricane, wind creation and manipulation, can manipulate oxygen levels, levitation, use wind currents to teleport. He has enhanced durability and stamina. So if we go back to Melancholy just briefly, he has the powers of the winds. He has abilities like Wind Typhoon, Air Flight, Wind Fist, and Air Vacuum. What's going to be tough, I think, personally, is how would he counter someone that's able to teleport through the wind? Because if he gets attacked, he just follows the current to teleport and get the advantage. That's what's going to be dangerous about that matchup. That could be a toss-up. I don't see anything about him having enhanced durability. His defense is only a 5 out of 10 based on the stat sheet, based on that. That's going to be dangerous. I think if Melancholy can't find a way around Hurricane's teleportation, he might lose that. So what I'm going to say for right now at the moment, my predictions is Keone wins. So that's one for Prince. And then I think the Hurricane versus Melancholy is a toss-up. So we'll just draw it for right now. But for all intents and purposes, we're 1-0 with Elementals in the lead in my personal prediction at the moment. Typhoon. Advanced hydrokinesis Can create and manipulate water vapor, precipitation, and can manipulate water in people's animals. Blood, lung adaptation, create and control water construction, can turn himself into forms of water, enhance durability and stamina. Y'all don't have a water user on the paladin side, so Juice about to electrocute this person, honestly. But let's see if you got who else we got over here. Titan, Geokinesis. You know how in most shows they end up trying to pair people together that does like the same things or stuff that's very similar. That's what I was slick trying to do. But let's see, Titan, just super strong person, telekinesis, manipulate rock and plant life, can manipulate the growth of plants, and can feel tectonic plates around him. Healing factor, enhanced stamina and durability. Oh man. Maybe Lamb Man. I feel like he's the heavy guy that would go against Titan. Y'all let me know. But if that's the case, I think with his sonic voice, he might be able to break through that. I don't know how strong a sonic voice is and whether he can do that, but that healing factor is gonna be crazy. I don't know who's stopping that healing factor. Like Simone Stone could be the answer for a lot of these, but I'm trying to 1v1 it kind of, but that's okay. That's okay. Celine, her body is made up. So what I'm not going to do 1v1 with it. I'm just going to say overall, so far, I think the elementals are going to win. But I think between the flame users on the Paladins, Simone Stone, and Juice, those are the most dangerous 5 to me. I know what my assumptions are for oh my gosh, he was my favorite one. How did I forget his name? Percy. I know how I would like to see Percy do, but in regards to how he is in the comics so far, I have no idea. Lawrence in the building. What's going on, boss? Goodness, I guess we're gonna be talking about your squad next too. So we're gonna be talking after we finish talking about elementals and paladins. We have another matchup that actually includes Paige and Lawrence. So we're gonna be talking about that in just a second. Overall, again, at the moment, I think elementals might take this. It just really depends on how that kind of initial thought process going into a matchup is, and knowing how like how the paladins roll and kind of how they dive into situations. They usually get briefed. There's usually, like, hey, you and y'all go check this out, that a little bit of recon that happens and stuff like that, from what I'm gathering from how the stories and stuff go. So they would try to make sure they got as much information as possible before just going in headstrong or whatnot. But they're not always in a big group like this. But of course, for the sake of this scenario, they are. So that's going to be tough. But anyway, that healing factor for Titan is going to be rough. Celine, her body is made up of organic ivory type metal. Oh, Viscosity is going against her. Can morph his limbs into weapons. Telepathic resistance. Superhuman strength. Can lift up to 3 tons. Regeneration. Superhuman durability and stamina longevity. She might outclass him. So, like, that's always the dangerous thing, right? That's always the dangerous thing because some characters, man, that's crazy. Like there's no his strength is a 7, but I don't know what that's based off of. Again, whether it's our power scaling list or one that he already had made up. But unless he is able to match that strength, again, blow for blow, that might just go to this character here, Celine. Helios, any of the fire users going against Helios. Helios can manipulate certain aspects of the sun, specifically the sun's rays. Fire conversion and manipulation, create control fire constructs. They're reversing that right back on you. Can manipulate the sun's rays to increase temperatures, heat himself up, and withstand extreme cold. Yeah, I think Helios would lose to either one of those fire users because they can both adapt to that level of flame and exceed that. So I'm not too worried about them. Either one of them are winning that. Dark lightning, dark matter, manipulation. That's all you're going against Percy. Pull dark matter from space and transfer it through her. He can manipulate that and take that away from her, from my understanding. So that's an easy win for Percy, in my opinion. She's a conduit for dark matter and energy, can convert herself into dark matter and enhance durability. Like I could see him absorbing that dark matter and then turning around and trapping her. Again, I don't know why I love spatial manipulation and immediately say, let's trap that person inside of something, inside of the internet, and we just be done. What else? That's it. That's all the characters right there. So personally, oh goodness, are they outnumbered? Hold on, let me recount that. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, y'all might be in trouble, elementals. 7 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. She's just regular cops, but you know, she's still there. 10. That is supposed to be 8v8, so I would take out the cop, of course. And and honestly, I'd probably take out Landman. But this squad is dangerous. Initially, again, I said the elementals, but the amount of stuff that they could coordinate as a team. No, you know what? I might. Again, to me, Simone Stone is the wild card that could shift the tide. But I think initially, just raw power blow for blow, I might have to say, I was looking for my issue of Last Line to see the characters and actually, yeah. And see, again, this is what I love. I love this kind of being able to read each other's books, learn about each other's characters, and support each other. That's what I love. I love hearing that other creators have each other's books and stuff like that. Freaking awesome. So if you do find it, please, yeah. And also, Lawrence, if you want to share some screenshots and stuff like that of your characters, if anybody wants to share screenshots and stuff of their characters in action, please share that. It would let everybody get excited about what's going on. And of course, on Promo Sunday, definitely drop those links so people can pick that stuff up. Share y'all stuff every single day. Please share your characters in action. Share those pinups. Say my character's going to whoop your character because X, Y, and Z. Let's see those powers and stats consistently. Let's continue to have these conversations. But Simone Stone, okay. So really quick, honest opinion. Keone's taking her fight and winning that fight against the Ice Guy. Helios is going to get dropped. I feel like their matches and Catalyst will drop Helios immediately. So now, you know, that kind of evens the playing field again. But Juice basically being Zeus, is going to be a problem for them. I don't think there's going to be a real answer for that. But before I get into her, I think Percy would drop Dark Lightning. And Titan would just need to get jumped. Oh, the Hurricane versus Melancholy. Hurricane is going to win that fight. But again, by this point, I think the Paladins would have the gang overwhelmed at this point. So I think if we did individual matches like blow for people that were evenly matched and all that other stuff or in the same kind of wheelhouse or power set, I think the Elementals would win. But being that this is an 8v8 and everybody's just going at each other, boom, 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 I personally think in that type of scenario, the Paladins would win. Again, the dangerous thing is you got Keone fighting against characters like Omega, who is a ridiculous level threat. Like that dude is like, you know, you could have just sent him in to fight Thanos solo dolo full Infinity Gauntlet. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a very, very dangerous character. But yeah, I think again, 8v8, I might have to give it to Paladin. So I think that's one I think that's who's gonna win this. That's my prediction for that matchup. So if you guys want to go back, look at these fights, look at the comments, look at the, you know, stats, powers, and abilities and the bios and all that other stuff, make your determination. But I'm predicting that the Paladins will win versus the Elementals. So we're going to go ahead and move to Chess versus the Last Line. Chess is from Page One Comics, created by Alfred Page, or Page Alfred, or as it says right here. And the Last Line, Constant Hustle, Lawrence King. So let's dive into that. Now, I know about Pinpoint, but I don't think I know too much about everybody else in Chess. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking that out here in the comments. All right, so Last Line. I don't know who the individual characters are, but that's okay. We're going to read out those abilities, and then we're going to dive into that in just a second. So there's a character on the squad named Lunatic. His armor adds durability and shielding. His gun fires energy blasts of varying calibers and types. And the glasses help him with aim and read heat signatures. Nice. Tumbler, suit built with the African rhino in mind. Runs through most surfaces and materials. Energy blast of dark matter origin. Okay. I offer it for what little I do know about Chess. I don't know if anybody has anything that's going to be able to take on something of dark matter origin in regards to energy blast. I don't think there's anybody on the squad that's tanking that caliber of impact. But let's see. Slight pressure manipulation. That is very dangerous. Impact is, again, these are the name of the characters. So far we've talked about Lunatic and Tumbler. We're now on Impact. Has a suit. The suit is for the more agile cheetah in mind. Okay. Nearly impossible to detect. increased speed and stamina and strength, sees great distances with ease, and fires beams in the form of arrows with sniper accuracy. Okay. And then we've got magnificent, suit powered with the elephant in mind, almost Hulk-like strength with density and gravity manipulation. Oh my God. Light blast to use a blinding tool with extra stamina. Jesus. Okay. Okay, there's Chess's characters, right? Or Paige's characters right here. Okay, here we go. So first off, their espionage tactics strike team. Again, if you guys need to check these guys out, you want to check them out, definitely join the group, Indie Breakdown /versus. But then also what we want you guys to do is link up with these creators, support them, read their books, get it digitally, get it physically, however you want to read it, read it. You guys get a perfect opportunity to get to know the characters on a deeper level here with the power stats and abilities, the kind of inspiration behind the characters. We did have the opportunity to interview both of these gentlemen about their characters. Lawrence is actually on season 3, so there was actually a small clip posted on social media just recently, so definitely check out the interviews, Indie Breakdown Versus. You can find that on YouTube via our channel, Midnight Comics. We have a whole playlist for it, so definitely check that out and get prepared for season 3, because season 3 is about to be awesome and about to be out here soon. But back to Paige's characters here. We're talking about Chess. Hart is the field leader, strategics expert, hand-to-hand fighter, trained in weapons such as firearms, but prefers the 2 swords she has on her back. Then we've got Footpath, Team's Ninja, throws darts, liquid nitrogen, sleeping gas, and explosives. Also trained in weapons, but uses her darts as her primary weapon. Then we got Pinpoint. I do know about Pinpoint. Pinpoint is an army sniper, very aggressive with a sniper rifle or his handguns. Pinpoint hits the target, fighting brawler style. We've got Airborne, an Air Force pilot trained as any person with military training. Airborne position is usually flying the team's Jet Eagle 1, drops off an extraction when needed, and using the weapons of the Eagle 1 to bring needed backup guns, missiles, and force fields. Force fields, didn't realize that's going to be that might aid them in this battle. Blowtorch, the human weapon, is an Army Ranger. Blowtorch wears a mask over his face due to being disfigured from a minefield blast. First off, he survived a minefield blast. Carried tubes on his back connected to gloves that give off degrees of heat from his white flames. Blowtorch style to cut through. It's blowtorch style to cut through fences, and he always brings the heat. I love it. And then we got Infrared, originally a prototype of a shutdown robotic soldiers program, reprogrammed to be the firepower of the chess team. Infrared has blasters on his wrist, on the wrist of his right hand, and a force field in the palm of his left hand. Infrared can't fly, but the boosters on his feet lets him take off like a jet. His body is built to be durable to incoming damage, missiles, explosions. He is the team's walking tank. So, dang. This is a great matchup. Unfortunately, this might be clear-cut only because these suits that the characters of the last line have are ridiculous, right? If you got somebody that has pressure manipulation, even slightly slowing these characters down, that's the problem. You had pressure manipulation, and you had somebody else with gravity manipulation. That already slows the team down. They're not expecting that. Now, what I will say about Chess 9 times out of 10, to my understanding, if the entire squad of Chess is going out, they got the information that they need to mobilize and take this threat on, and they're not going to go in there just straight, let's do that. But in regards to that, we didn't set a scenario. So this is a random encounter. All players are on the field, just like what we talked about with the Paladins versus the Elementals. 8v8, everybody's on the field, balls to wall. Unfortunately, in a matchup like that, my prediction has to go to The Last Line by Lawrence. So that's my predictions there. Again, if anybody disagrees with me, let's talk about the points of contention. Let's talk about where and who we think would win that Indie versus matchup. I love these characters, y'all. This is awesome. All of this is awesome. So you guys are kind of getting the inside scoop on the matchups and stuff, or in the group and stuff like that. But this is the name of the group right here. If you guys haven't seen it, Indie Breakdown versus. Okay, so definitely come on through, join in the conversation. Likes, hearts, all that other stuff. So again, let me go back down because I didn't say that for that one. If you guys want to vote for the Elementals, hit the like button on that post. Heart for the Paladins if you vote for them. Next up, of course, we talked about Chess versus The Last Line. Like for Chess, heart for The Last Line. So currently for that matchup, we're looking at 10 for The Last Line and 6 for chess. So it's still anybody's game at that point. We've got 18 minutes left for that. And then we have, I got you. I peeped that in the comments too. Let me see. So then the elementals right now, who do we have? It's 8-7. That is close right now. So that's truly anybody's matchup, with the elementals in the lead by 1. So heart for the Paladins, like for the elementals. Again, that is Eminent Comics versus Icarus Metro Comics. And again, this was Page 1 Comics versus Constant Hustle Comics there. So now here's the big one, because these characters here are so very powerful. Okay. He said, I'll take that at random. Yeah. At random, like that's But and not to kind of rehash everybody that's watching, Paige is actually on Facebook commenting and stuff like that right now. And again, a lot of your favorite creators are in this group right now. So if you guys want to get to know these characters kind of beyond the pages, page, like you really have an opportunity to kind of converse and get to know these characters, look at the power scaling, and really do a deep dive, right? Like we can see the feats of the comics and stuff like that. I'll give you an example really quick before we move on to this matchup here. We talked to Black Bow. He was actually our second episode in season 1. And when we talked about, a durability feat, right? We didn't see him get hit in his book, but what we did pull from was the fact that there was an explosion that happened right in front of him, right? And so it's just like all the stuff that we see in these books, like, yeah, they're cool images and stuff like that, and we're getting the story across, but even the smallest thing like that, it was a durability feat. Like cars were flying, building got destroyed, and he is unmoved, no scratch. So at minimum, nobody is hitting with the force of that explosion. You're not even scratching Black Book, right? So just diving in and getting to know more about these characters and seeing these pages of characters in action and all this other stuff, that's what I am here for, and I absolutely freaking love it. So anyway, the matchup for me right now, when I saw this matchup, I was like, this is probably these characters in this group, in this matchup, are some of the heaviest hitters in this group. The Groovster, what's going on, man? What's going on? That's what I was going to say. I did interrupt myself. I'm so sorry. Paige, absolutely. A pre-planned mission is a different story, because in what I know about chess, and I was alluding to this earlier to anybody that's watching both things, and what from what I gather from seeing the story of chess, if they're going into a battle and they're specifically coming for you or for them, they know how their suits work. They know the weaknesses of the suits. They know any downtime between any of the weapons, how much ammo these people have. That when they do recon and go into a mission, they are fully abreast on all of your power stats and abilities. They're coming in ready. Point blank, period. They just gotta get the recon part right, which I'm not. Well, of course, to my understanding, I haven't seen them flub that. Right, I've never seen that be the case. So anyway, I absolutely agree. If chess had the time, the pre-planning to go on this mission, they're doing that. So, yo, what's Indie versus? Time to get busy. Yeah, this is the one. We have One for All. Slight typo over here. One for All versus Aegis Sector. One for All is actually from Idleverse. That's by Nathan Ross. And then we have Aegis Sector, which is Michael Wynn. They have some insanely powerful characters. We have Nathan Ross, who is universe is essentially led by Jupiter Man. I don't know who put their stats up first, but we're going to start from the top, which is Jupiter Man. So prepare yourselves, because these characters, again, I can't say enough, are some of the strongest characters in the indie game. So here we are. Jupiter Man, starting from the top. Jupiter Man has supernatural strength. He possesses the strength to move mountains effortlessly as if they were mere pebbles, and his touch can shatter the very foundation of Earth. Now, I feel like you downplaying him on this super strength right here, because that's not, we talked about some heavier stuff in that interview, but we'll dive into that in a second. Supernatural speed. Time itself seems to slow in his presence as he moves with swiftness of a comet streaking across the heavens, leaving only a blur in his wake. Supernatural durability. His skin is as resilient as the ancient rocks, impervious to the fiercest blows and the most relentless of assaults. supernatural agility, he can dance through the chaos of battle with the grace of a leaf caught in a whirlwind, and his movements fluid and unpredictable. Eidetic memory, I don't know if I ever pronounced that right. His mind is a vast library where every moment, every detail is meticulously cataloged and readily accessible, like flipping through the pages of a timeless tome. Spiritual invincibility. His soul is a fortress shielded from harm by the very essence of his being, untouchable by the forces of darkness and despair. He has a healing factor. His body is a temple of regeneration, capable of repairing itself at an astonishing rate, as if guided by the hand of a divine healer. He has sun manipulation. He wields the power of the sun itself, commanding its fiery brilliance to illuminate the darkness of shadows and incinerate his foes with the intensity of 1,000 stars. Next up, he's got storm manipulation. He is able to, the tempest is in his domain, and with that, I thought you could unleash the fury of the heavens, bending wind and rain to his will, like a maestro conducting a symphony of chaos. I'm getting thrown up by how it's written right now. I apologize. Speed manipulation. He's the embodiment of velocity incarnate, able to accelerate to speeds beyond comprehension, bring the very essence of motion to a standstill, plunging the world into an abyss of eternal night. Wait, what? Or bring the very essence of motion to a standstill. Wait, I got questions now. Like, okay, so when we talked in the interview and stuff like that, so to give my understanding about Jupiter Man really quick, because I know I'm doing I hope I'm not rambling or anything of that nature, but it's my show. I'm tired of saying I'm done rambling. I'm gonna ramble. This is my joint. But when we talked, one of the things that stood out about Jupiter Man, one, he has access to every storm that has ever existed or ever will existed. So he has massive storm manipulation. His manipulation of various stars makes him insanely powerful. And then in regards to his speed, he doesn't travel at the speed of light. He, like it says, there's the speed of darkness, which, and this is one of the things that we were talking about. Great minds think alike, because one of our characters, yet to be out, is going to be diving into this. If I'm going to give an example, and I'm actually reading a book on this. Hold on. Oh, it's not right here next to me. I'm reading a book right now called The Order of Time. And this is where I got that initial idea as well, where if everything's connected through dark matter, which is like science theory and stuff like that, like if everything's connected, right? If you're just moving through darkness, right? That's not traversal. What is time, right? You're moving at the speed of light. That still takes time. If you're just connected to the darkness, that's something completely different, right? You're not actually traveling. You're just appearing in that spot. So like, just like the spot. I think that was an example that I used during me in his interview too, where it's just like, it's not taking him time to just appear. He just is there, right? So sake of conversation, like, if a character goes millions of light, it's not going to be like Interstellar, right? Where it's just like, hey, that time dilation is going to mess me up. No, I didn't actually traverse. I just appeared in that spot because I'm literally connected to the darkness. So if I go 800 million light years away from Earth and just appeared, for me, it wasn't that. And for you, it wasn't that, because I just appeared there. I didn't actually traverse that. I just am there, and I could pop back up without any real time passing by. So when he says speed of darkness, I immediately understood that's the route he was going with that. So I don't think that description really explained that, and I hope I did it justice, Nathan. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Spirit walking. I know that we talked about he has access to a spirit realm. In his first issue, he was able to go into the spirit realm for 200 years, and as people were passing into the next world, what ends up happening is he's able to learn from them. Anything that they've learned, fighting styles, mystic arts, all other stuff, knowledge, everything, he is able to learn in that space and master in that space as they're transitioning into that next world. Obviously, he's got flight. That doesn't need further explanation. He can fly. Indomitable will, very unyielding. Yeah, I know one thing about him though is that he is fighting this godhood that he is attained. So I'm very interested to know where his story continues to go. Thank you. Okay, I had to go. Okay, bet. So that's it about Jupiter Man. Jupiter Man is insanely powerful because, again, we're talking about super strength. This description did not do him justice in regards to being able to shatter mountains. Like, yeah, light work. But this guy is surviving black holes. This guy is like just shattering the foundation of the earth. Like, he he could potentially tear the planet apart. Like we talked about it during a versus match, and actually I'm writing a scenario right now between him versus Avora Lee. And one of the things that came up when we talked about Jupiter Man versus Luna is the fact that he would easily just one-shot a Moon casually to get the character's attention. So obviously that is, he's massively powerful. Next up, we've got Bravin. We did say 8 o'clock is when the voting will end for this, but we'll wait until at the very least I finish reading this and give an additional maybe 5-10 minutes following me completing reading through the power sets and stuff like that, giving you guys opportunities to join and vote and let us know who you think would win each of these indie versus matchups. So next we got Bravin. He's tech savvy. He's got mastery of technology, transcending mere proficiency, allowing him to navigate the digital realm with finesse, a virtuoso conducting and orchestrating a symphony of code and circuits. These descriptions, okay. Deductive reasoning. His mind is a razor-sharp instrument capable of dissecting even the most complex puzzles with the precision of a skilled surgeon, uncovering hidden truths and unraveling mysteries with ease. You know what these remind me of? I said Bravin, it's Braven. I'm sorry. You know what these descriptions remind me of? This is, I hope this doesn't come across wrong, but it reminds me of the descriptions when you do those personality tests and quizzes and stuff like that. That's what these descriptions remind me of. That's not bad or anything like that, but just I like these breakdowns though. Was that Pancration Brawler Mastery? He's the epitome of martial prowess, seamlessly blending the ancient techniques with modern brawling, becoming a whirlwind of devastation on the battlefield, where every strike is a symphony of pain and every movement a testament to his mastery. Mechanic skills, his hands are as skilled as an artisan's, capable of coaxing the most intricate of machines into submission with a touch that's both delicate and powerful, like a blacksmith forging a blade tempered in the fires of creation. Next up, he's got weapons engineering. He's a maestro of destruction, crafting instruments of war with precision and ingenuity that borders the divine. Each weapon a masterpiece of design and functionality, capable of laying waste to any who dare oppose him. Then he's got a strike suit, which is a bone suit. It's a bone suit? Okay. This suit is more than mere armor. It is a testament to the ingenuity of its creator and the resilience of its wearer. Bulletproof and imbued with the ability to redistribute potential and kinetic energy, it transforms you into a living weapon, enhancing his strength, speed, durability, and agility to superhuman levels. He's got SX90 pistols. These twin pistols are the instruments of vengeance. Their sleek design and deadly accuracy making them the perfect companions for any who dare challenge his dominion. Blight bullets, purge toxin. Okay, each bullet is a harbinger of agony, inflicting the torment upon his foes that transcends mere physical pain, burning them from the inside out until there is naught but ash left in their wake. Then he's got the bark blades. These gauntlet blades are a lethal combination of artistry and lethality. Their edges laced with purge toxin, ensuring that even the slightest scratch is enough to bring a grown man to his knees in agony. Sniff sense trackers, these expertly crafted devices on your eyes and ears in the field, capable of tracking even the most elusive of prey with a precision that borders on the supernatural, while their AMP pulses and electric shock emitters ensure that no foe can escape his grasp for long. And then the Hound Cruiser, this techno marvel is his steed in the endless expanse of battle, its advanced systems and sleek design, making it the envy of all who behold it, with its side sleeper cannons, sniff sense tracker distributor, and AI program leash. It is a force to be reckoned with, a symbol of his dominance on the battlefield. So that was Braven. So far we got Braven and Jupiter Man. Obviously, Braven is not going to be as strong as Jupiter Man, because from the looks of it, Braven is just a regular guy. However, again, with the tools that he has in his possession, he definitely is a dangerous thing. I remember Aegis. Aegis was you had her a part of the event last month. So Aegis, she has a warrior spirit. First off, warrior spirit. Within her burns the eternal flame of battle, a primal sense that drives her ever forward, unyielding in the face of adversity and relentless in pursuit of victory. Next up, we've got martial arts expertise from various cultures. Okay, her combat prowess is a tapestry woven from the techniques of countless civilizations, each move a tribute to the warriors who came before her, blending seamlessly into a style uniquely her own. She's immortal? I thought she was a regular person, bro. Wait a second. Time holds no sway over her, for she is as ageless as the stars themselves, a timeless guardian destined to walk to Earth until the end of days. So I do have a question if you're still in here. Can she be killed, or is she just immortal in the sense that she'll never age? Well, I guess, yeah, like we get the ageless part, but like Aegis, Aegis, I say Aegis, Aegis. But yeah, let me know. So she just doesn't age, but does she? She's cursed with immortality. So shoot. So she's not even dying. Jesus Christ. Armor of Athena, woven from the very fabric of wisdom and war. This divine armor is a shield against the darkest of evils. Its gleaming surface, a testament to the might of the gods and the valor of its wearer. Nice. So, like, she's immortal and she's got the armor of Athena. Insane. Now, the twin golden scythes, crafted from Zeus's original lightning bolt by Hephaestus. These ancient weapons calculate with the power of the heavens, their golden blades slicing through the air like bolts of lightning, leaving only destruction in their wake. I would love, she can't die or be killed. Dang. Yeah. So off rip, this is when we get to the other characters, man. This is the matchup again. Again, these characters here are insanely powerful. I definitely underestimated her because I'm pretty sure when we did the event, I don't think I realized that she was immortal. Like the heroes still won the event, but like I didn't realize that she was immortal. So that could have also been like if she was on the recon team, that would have been crazy. I'm pretty sure she was on the last line of defense, and I was worried about that last line of defense team. If I'm being completely honest, I was like, they are not ready for this, but she's immortal, so like she's solid. Melonite Comics, welcome. Trill Ranger, I'm so sorry, everybody on Instagram. I didn't say anything to you. Fanatics, welcome. God is Attico. God is a taco. Welcome. Digital Sleep. I said Trail Ranger 87 and Melonite Comics. Welcome everybody in here. And everybody, of course, that's watching on Facebook, that's watching on YouTube, that's watching on Instagram. Thank you guys so much. If you're watching on YouTube, please like the videos, like the live. It helps tremendously. And of course, like and share these lives on the respective places. Have other people join the conversation. Have other people become aware of your character and others. Let's continue to support indie. And of course, I'd be remiss to say, to exclude, please continue supporting the indie breakdown and indie verses. We're first of its kind, man. We're the only ones that's breaking down characters to this degree, really diving in and getting to know these characters, and then having these weekly and monthly events and stuff like that. You're not going to find that anywhere else, man. So thank you guys for your support and love and all that other stuff. But without further ado, let's dive back into Aegis. Did I say it right that time? Aegis's powers, stats, and abilities. Next up, again, we have the enhanced attributes of strength, speed, agility, etc. Her body is a temple. Peace. And then Jeff, welcome. Her body is a temple of perfection, each sinew and muscle honed to peak efficiency, granting her the strength of giants, the speed of cheetahs, and the agility of nimble dancers. Then we have knowledge of magic. The arcane secrets of the cosmos are hers to command, a sorcery of unparalleled skill, wielding the forces of creation and destruction with but a word and a gesture. Can she defeat Jupiter Man? Resident 76, welcome. Can she defeat Jupiter Man with the forces of creation and destruction? Like, of course, when we talk about Aegis, there we go. I got it now. Aegis. I keep saying Aegis because that's how they said it in Dead Space on, everything taking place on Aegis 7, but they spelled it the same way. So my bad. But Aegis is her name. But yeah, please let us know really quick. And again, we're not necessarily doing a versus match between your characters internally, but it's just more of a curiosity for me because if she has the forces of creation and destruction, now, of course, in versus matches, everything is not to the death, right? We could do, incapacitation, KO, capture, whatever. But with these abilities, with her magical abilities, does she stand a chance against a character like Jupiter Man? I definitely am curious to know. Moving on, though, she is a tactician. Her mind is a battlefield, a chessboard, where every move is a calculated gambit and every strategy a master stroke of cunning and guile. And of course, she is a strategist, an architect of victory, a master of the long game who sees not just the battlefield before her, but the entire tapestry of war laid out in all of its complexity. And from it, She's able to craft triumph from the very jaws of defeat. Next time, I would love to know to what degree of some of these things, right? Like we talked about, like I knew more about Jupiter Man. I knew more about Jupiter Man and kind of the feats and the levels of the strength and stuff like that. But like I would like to know stuff like, is Braven able to like lift a car? Is he a regular guy in a suit? How much output is he doing in strength and stuff like that? And then same with Aegis. I want to know, like, of course, you know, enhanced attributes and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I got that. I do want to know. And again, this might be for next time, as we're doing the matchups and stuff like that. And this is for everybody that joins, everybody that's already in here. No, she's inexperienced in her magic use. Oh no, that's not good. Okay. So that's a double-edged sword because when we get into these matchups against funny enough, Aegis Sector, whichever one, but funny enough that the name of that group is the name of the thing. That's gonna be fun. But next time, for anybody that joins, everybody that's in here already, I want to know to what degree are their strengths and proficiencies, right? How long has Braven been in the game, right? How proficient is she in her martial arts, her weapons training, her magic? I want to know that type of stuff for sure. So with that being said, I'm not necessarily skimming over what it says in here, but what I'm just gonna say the top bit, right? So Martyr is a weapon specialist, master martial artist, an expert spy, expert acrobat, master assassin, talented hacker, expert marksman, expert tactician, reflexes. Okay, quick enhanced reflexes. I'm assuming durability, multilingualism, peak human attributes. Okay, Perseus sword. Ancient weapon is a double-edged sword in more ways than one, possessing mystical powers that make it a formidable tool in his arsenal, but also carrying a curse, that threatens to corrupt its wielder with every swing. Dang, so yeah, some of these characters got stuff working against them, unfortunately, between the magic being not to say inexperienced. I was about to say unlearned. What? Inexperienced with magic. That's gonna be dangerous. No. Welcome Casey Newell and the one randomly Dre. That's not what that says. One and only Dre. Jamel Wilson. Everybody that's joining in on both Facebook. I say both, but Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. You guys are greatly appreciated. I also shared the live in the Indie Breakdown group, and I guess it's the same thing. Y'all are looking at this here. Sorry, I interrupted myself and went on a whole tangent. So sorry. Taser Baton, a shocking addition to his arsenal. Blunt force off. Okay, so Taser Baton, I don't need to explain that. Y'all know what that is. Electrifying jolts and capacity opposed when we are tapped. A Ray Saber, a blade of pure energy. So on top of Perseus's sword. Excuse me. He's got a Ray Saber. And then got modified assault rifles, got AI assisted precision targeting, fire control, host of other enhancements that make them deadly. Now, see, again, in this space, when you say he's got other enhancements that make it a deadly instrument, I want to personally. Now, again, I'm sure this can get tedious trying to share y'all's characters a bunch of times, but personally, I want to know all the enhancements. Tell me every enhancement that can play a role in there. I remember that I kind of overlooked that with Black Bow versus Delta Dogs, or just Black Bow in general at first. And I'm talking about that because, again, they were our first season, kind of that learning period and stuff like that. But it was just like, yeah, he just, he has arrows that he creates with his energy. It's like, no, he has arrows and puts the energy on top of it, but he also has a bunch of other gadgets and stuff to utilize to kind of give him the edge in battle. So it's like, oh, well, let's talk about each of those pieces, like the EMP joint, all the gas stuff, all of that. So I want to know all that to say, when you guys are describing your characters in here, I want to know every enhancement. I want to know the depths of their powers. I want to know how strong they are. I want to know to what extent they know their magic. How much are they lifting? I want to know it all. Okay. He's got an AI helper, a digital companion, cool. Precision assistance, which we talked about a little bit with the modified assault rifles. Actually, he's got a companion over his eyes and ears on the battlefield, providing real information and targeting visuals. Okay, and then smart targeting system. So this guy has got a lot of help in regards to his aim and stuff like that. Fire control, adjust firing rate. Okay, so a lot of AI assisted capabilities here. Energy cells, ensures rifles remain operational. Modular design. Okay. So a lot of sensors and all that other stuff. Holographic display. So a lot of gadgets giving him real-time information, assistance with aiming, controlling fire, energy cells to keep the ammo and stuff going, recoil dampening, silent mode. That is what? I guess it's a stealth suit. Engage a stealth operation without giving away position as rifles spread. If you're still here, tell me about stealth mode. Is that like a stealth or silent mode? Is that like a stealth suit type thing, or are you just saying that they just have like silencers and stuff? Biometric lock, so nobody else can pick up the gun and stuff like that. We got Blue Mantle. Blue Mantle was pretty powerful. So flight goes without saying. Don't have to explain flight. Enhanced attributes, super speed, and all that other stuff. He can move mountain speed that outpaces the swiftest of winds, and durability that renders him impervious to harm. So like complete invulnerability or no on that one. So that's a toss up. A universal translator can speak all the languages. Force field, time travel can manipulate the very fabric of time itself, bro. Oh man. Dang. Well, if that's the case, that's a whole nother. I'm thinking back to the matchup, the event. If he got time travel, that could have changed the course of a lot of stuff. Wormhole travel in space bends and warps at his command. I want to know if he used that on Earth, if there would be a side effect or any damage done if he's bending time and space and stuff like that. I think about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure where Okuyasu with his stand the hand, and he did that, and it literally erased space in that particular thing and drew people and like there's like a force and a slight explosion when everything tried to correct itself and that missing space got filled in. So I wonder if he utilizes wormhole travel like that on Earth, if that would cause any issues. He's got electromagnetic scanning. Okay, he can scan the electromagnetic magnetic spectrum. Emergency locator beacon. Even in depth space, you are never truly lost. Your beacon guides you home with a signal that pierces the void. What is that? Is that like a piece of tech that he has? Galactic Encyclopedia, so he knows a lot of the stuff that's in the cosmos. I want to know his origin story. Energy projection, energy absorption instrument, and energy construct. So he's pretty powerful. He gives off Superman-esque type, in regards to fit. But with those energy constructs and manipulate absorption and stuff like that, like I don't like okay, yeah. I see it's in his cape. Oh, the tracker is in his cape. Okay. So this is a fire character. And we got more Morticia. Dip Gaming. What's going on, man? Oh, an official Tashi J. What's happening, girl? All right. So we still gotta. I knew I was gonna go over. And I was trying to go fast. It's 8:10. Technically, voting would have ended, but we're live right now. We're talking about this. So once I'm done, we'll give an additional 5 minutes. Again, do your likes or hearts and stuff like that. Join the group Indie Breakdown /versus on Facebook. Put your votes in for these various battles that's happening. There's 3 battles going on right now. We've got the Paladins versus the Elementals. We have Chess versus Last Line, and then we have Aegis Sector versus One for All. Ooh, I was having brain farts just now. Forgive me. This the last one? Okay. Morticia. You're saying last one in regards to pronunciation. Morticia. So she's nigh invulnerable. She's got teleportation, flight, illusion, so reality bends to her will. Okay. Supernatural attributes, telekinesis, telepathy, healing, seduction, energy constructs, magic, spirit possession, shape-shifting, that's trouble, spell casting, hypnosis, and intangibility. Okay. That's dangerous. Oh my god, that's dangerous. Okay, we got a couple more. I think we have a couple more characters. We got literally a couple more characters in regards to this group here, One for All. We have Sir Absolute, who has supernatural abilities. And again, trying to make it quicker and stuff like that. And the description doesn't go like that, doesn't dive into specifics. So that's the only reason why I'm kind of skimming over it really quick. But I'm hoping that shucks. Hold on. I just said all shucks a lot, man. I'm bugging. Y'all like this man is a dork. Let's see. King of Gambling, welcome. All right, back down to Sir Absolute. So supernatural attributes, nigh invulnerability, invincibility, excuse me. Leap, far bounds. Oh, so he's not able to. Okay, he's not able to fly. Okay, energy, regenerative, healing. So is that just regeneration and astonishing rate? Okay, limited personal customization. Okay, he's like a build your own character. So it's like, I mean, essentially shape shifting, right? Mm, teleportation, dangerous. Size alteration, etheric synthesis. Connection to the ether allows you to manipulate the very fabric of reality. Damn. Brawler combat, mastery of hand-to-hand combat, and expert wrestler. Man, I tried to tell y'all these characters are crazy. Superhuman attributes, of course. Again, when we dive into this later on, again, for our future reference, I want to know to what extent are we talking with superhuman attributes, right? So we know beyond those of ordinary humans, but like, is he like Jupiter Man and he's destroying planets in a punch? Is he ripping the fabric of space-time with his bare hands? I'm thinking about Titan the Ultraman, who's holding the magical realm and the regular realms either together or apart, but he's holding entire dimensions in the palm of his hand, right? So, you know, there's different levels to the strength, speed, and durability game. I want to know specifics. Angular momentum flight, cellular energy stockpile within the very core of your being lines, a reservoir of balanced energy, a wellspring of power that fuels your every action, sustains you. Cellular energy I beams. Okay. Man, okay. These are some powerful characters, bro. I remember I was looking at some of these characters before and I was like, they're all in the same universe. I think I saw a page when you were talking about the Indiegogo. I think it was one of the promos joints that you did, and one of the characters popped up on him, and I was like, "There's gonna be more heroes in the Jupiter Man joint." Like I thought they were gonna be like separate universes or something, and I was just like, "Who else do you need if you got Jupiter Man in there? Like he could be." My assumption, I was like, he could practically be everywhere at once. Like, ain't even no point in being a hero, but I guess him being around would still motivate others to be heroes and do their own thing. Then again, he just got out of the basically 200 years of sleep, so they probably just came about throughout the years and stuff like that. So disregard. But yeah, so that was everybody for One for All. Again, that was a typo. So if I read too fast, if you guys couldn't keep up, anything like that, it's perfectly fine. Join the group, vote, read about the characters yourself, make your determination. Now, last but not least, we've got the Aegis sector. That is Michael Wynn's group. We just talked about One for All, which is Idleverse, which is by Nathan Rouse. We also had the opportunity to interview him about his character, Jupiter Man. You get to definitely learn more about that, a deep dive into it. If you want the short version, you can check out How Strong is Jupiter Man on our YouTube, or you can watch the entire interview with Nathan on YouTube as well. We also have this up on Spotify, so you can definitely check out all of the interviews and stuff and listen to it while you're on the way home and all this other stuff. If you enjoy listening to this voice, that is. Anyway, I'm gonna stop. So next up, we have Michael Wynn's characters. We're gonna run down of the field agents of Aegis Sector. He said I'll keep it brief for the sake of comment spam. All right. We have Sunstorm, field leader, expert tactician, and trained soldier whose constant absorption of cosmic and solar energy grants him a vast amount of control over energy along the electromagnetic spectrum. From energy shields to devastating blasts of plasma, hard light constructs, energy absorption, faster than light flight capabilities, EMP discharges, and the ability to enhance his own physiology well into superhuman levels through energy absorption and redirection. His chief skills in leadership, quick thinking, charisma, and tactics enables him to best guide his fellow field agents to use their abilities or to enhance their own efforts with his own. Again, all these are my prediction on who's going to win. Again, make y'all's decision here in a second. But anyway, let me move on to Grimoire. Grimoire, I hope I'm saying that right. I think I'm saying that right. A young man who was chosen to contain and protect the Akashic Codex, a book of magic. What's going on, Goat? What's happening, bro? Goat 1408? What's happening? How's everybody doing this evening? I know I'm talking a lot. We're talking about predictions right now in the current matchup. We're doing 8v8 between various publishers within the Indie Breakdown Indie Versus community. So if you guys want to continue that conversation, vote for your favorite characters, get to know some of your favorite creators and their characters on a deeper level, definitely join the group. Also follow our various pages. Follow us on YouTube where we do breakdowns and interviews with these MC. Hey, what's happening? What's going on? But yeah, please get to know these characters, get to know these creators, get to know all these things, man. Like I can't stress enough, nobody else is doing it to the degree that we're doing it, man. It is such a delight to get to know these characters, really dive into what they're doing in each of these panels, their feats and stuff. And even in a sense, not only help people dig deeper into their characters and descriptions, powers, abilities, and how they can utilize some of these things, and even help them, guide them into understanding their characters even better, but also helping people understand power scaling and that not all versus matches need to lead to a death match, right? I know death battle has gotten us wired to believe that, but characters can get captured, characters can get knocked out, jumped, whatever the case may be. But being able to talk about power scaling, which we're going to do that on a more consistent basis. We talked about what is a street level character and what are the stats that keep them in that vicinity. What's all that other good stuff. We talked definitely deeply about various characters and power scaling and stuff like that. But I love really teaching how to debate. That's a whole nother thing. Teaching how to debate, teaching how to power scale, that kind of thing. So we're going to be doing a lot more of that. But nobody's breaking down these characters and making these shorts like that. So man, definitely check us out on YouTube. Check out, we've done 20 of them so far. I have 6 more to do for season 3, 4 more interviews, but 6 videos to do with the current interviews that have been done. We're killing the game right now. A lot of big announcements coming really soon, just getting the last couple things set. But anyway, I veered off of topic here. Y'all want to hear more about these characters? Let's get back to it. Grimoire, we talked about the Codex, a book of magic whose knowledge and traditions span universes and seal his position as the Archmagus, tasked with defending his universe from threats both local and multiversal. Despite his youth, his awakening as a magus, and the powers of the Codex grant him vast magical abilities, spell working and weaving of the highest authority, with access to past wielders of the Codex. He's like the avatar of magic users, bro. For guidance and the wisdom concerning matters he lacks experience in. He goes to past wielders of the Codex for guidance and wisdom concerning matters he lacks experience in. Got it. Reality manipulation, time manipulation, teleportation, elemental sorcery, transformation-based magic, dimensional manipulation, and more are at his disposal, limited only by his imagination and the scope of his duties. I could stop right there. That might be the biggest problem. I haven't read anybody else, but if he is able to, reality warpers are a problem. So reality manipulation and time manipulation, definite problems, right? And then when you talk about dimensional manipulation, of course, that could be any number of things. But again, reality manipulation is reality manipulation. If you can change reality, if you can manipulate reality, it's done. You're talking Franklin Richards type stuff right now. Obviously, Scarlet Witch type stuff. Like it's that's a lot. That's a lot, and I don't know, bro. That right there, I probably don't even need to read the rest. He can change the very core of the characters over there. But we're going to read the rest of the characters because we did that for everybody else. Don't forget, Juice power to control the speed formula. Yes. However, even with that, if somebody can do reality manipulation and change the very fabric of dimensions to where that doesn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can completely change what something is, certain functions cease to exist, right? Like there is a character who completely escapes me. It was one of those videos that was like, oh, I can name characters that could be Goku and Superman, right? And it was a character who literally, he was fighting somebody. He has the ability to basically, he was able to reality warp his entire universe. Like, he knew that they were in anime, he changed it into a manga. You know what I'm saying? Like, he completely warped it to where there was no color. And he was fighting somebody that was super powered but was a painter. And so he was like, well, I'll remove the color of blue. And he was just like, oh my gosh, I can't do anything. And he was like, you know, I'm going to remove all color. and it completely rendered a lot of people useless. And he was like, yeah, we're in a manga and I know it. Like he was so attuned to what reality was and was able to warp it to such a degree and forever change the story into manga. Like it was like it's stupid. But again, that's reality warpers, right? So to what degree is this character a reality warper or a reality manipulator and a dimension manipulator? Like these are some really dangerous things that when we see it in mainstream, they never utilize this type of stuff to its full ability. Excuse me for a moment. They never utilize this to its fullest capacity because, again, if you got reality manipulators, I'm not going to harp on this too much longer. You got reality manipulators like Franklin Richards and stuff like that. I mean, we had an image way back when. I think it was one of Jonathan Hickman's runs where we've got Franklin Richards as a child in the bed, creating a whole universe in between his hands and stuff like that. Like a fully grown version, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but Galactus not his herald at one point. Like you got these massively powerful characters that can really do anything. There shouldn't really be a threat anymore in some of these universes with level of power, but they never use it to the fullest of abilities. But anyway, this is indie, so things are going to be different here. Long story short, when you have reality manipulators, that already gives you damn near the dub easily. It's just like, oh, my power is this. What power? I mean, we saw a glimpse of that with Wanda, right? In Multiverse of Madness, right? Where it's just like, he can do this, with one, udder, he'll wipe you out. And it's just like, well, what mouth? And it's just gone, right? So now imagine that on dimensional scales. Like, you're not a god. What is that? You know what I mean? A god of what? And then, like, you have no power anymore. You're a regular guy. So it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous with these things, but we can't assume. Oh goodness, that light is bright. Let me move right in the way of that. I'm so sorry, y'all can't see me. There we go. So anywho, we're gonna move on to Sidescape. We're not gonna go ahead. We're not gonna assume the levels of strength for that character, but that is a very dangerous character. So next we have the first Sidescape, a first order telemental of the highest skill and head of Department Psi. I was going to say PSI. Sidescape possesses a vast level of telepathic and psionic power, granting her great ability in the realm of psychic powers. Ranked among the most powerful psychics ever encountered, she is both a blunt hammer as well as a precise instrument with her abilities, which include long and short range telepathy, networking of minds, psionic bolts, and weaponry, mental illusions, shielding, astral projections, precog, and other affiliated abilities. Though her telepathy is stronger, her telekinetic abilities are noteworthy, allowing for psychokinetic shields, supersonic flight, telekinetic bolts, and the ability to move even large structures with her mind. This swole dude right here, Validus, oh my gosh, I don't know how to read. Inscrutable, supernatural being formed from the collective essence. Don't try to laugh at me. Collective essence of beings, said to be the embodiment of the myths of ancient Greek mythology. The mighty Validus is said to have access to unfathomable power and is perhaps the single most powerful member of Aegis, and weapon of deterrence, as he is power has power as he it says he his. So as he has power equal to the myths he embodies, the strength of Atlas and Hercules, the speed of Hermes. Marvin, what's going on, man? I just happened to see the name. I was like, oh snap, I know you. What's happening, bro? What's going on? So I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Oreo? I don't know how to pronounce your Instagram name, but are you sharing your music and stuff on there, bro? Because if you are, y'all need to follow his page ASAP. Pretty doggone awesome. Mayo, welcome. Paper Hoodie, welcome. Where's Cam? Welcome. Again, everybody that's joining in, welcome. Young Loss, 33, welcome. We're talking about characters. You guys have an opportunity to vote for these characters in our group, the Indie Breakdown /Versus on Facebook. Like for One for All, Heart for Aegis Sector. We have 2 other matches that we talked about earlier. You can read through the character descriptions and all that. make your vote, choose the characters. This technically ends today, and then we're going to move forward with a new set of characters tomorrow, and then we're going to kind of keep going from there. We'll go live a little sooner so that we don't miss that 8 o'clock deadline. That's okay. We're having fun here. Anyway, so the strength of Atlas, Hercules, the speed of Hermes, the thunder and authority of Zeus, the invulnerability of Achilles, and battle fury of Ares are at his beck and call, with more esoteric abilities emerging as need calls, such as the wisdom of Athena. So, like, he could just keep getting powers or stronger as needed. That sounds like old school Superman to me. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when you have him go against a character like Jupiter Man, which obviously is the strongest character in that verse, Validus is just going to keep getting stronger now, or keep gaining abilities as needed to face off against him. I gotta know, and if Michael Wynn is in here, and of course Nathan, if you're in here, what is the response to Jupiter Man to a character that is gaining abilities as needed? Does he have a means, or in regards to his thought process, right? Is he going to pay attention to that level to realize, like, he's pulling powers that he's learning? I think Vegeta says this line against Broly, right? He's learning as he fights, right? Which to me, I freaking hate that line. It's so stupid to me. He's learning as he fights. Like, I get it, but just something about it just bugged me. Something about it just bugged me. I feel like it's like, oh, he's getting stronger as he's fighting. Now he's learning as he fights. But anyway, side thing. What is Jupiter Man's response to something like that? Right? Because honestly, at the moment, there's nothing that would tell me, right? If we're blow for blow, random just fight, random encounter, and all that other stuff, if he's just pulling powers out and I never met him before, it's like, damn, he just has a lot of abilities, not he's making up abilities as he goes. I have to end this now. Like, no, it's just like, dang, this guy just has a lot of stuff in his arsenal. What is my response to something like that? I definitely want to know. Technically, Sir Absolute is the strongest. Okay. So then, question extended then, what would Sir Absolute do against a character like Validus, with his ability to do, with his ability to kind of call on more esoteric abilities as needed? And now we're going to move over to his character Slipstream, a temporal anomaly whose metagene connected her to the flow of the time stream, and granted her super speed based on the ability to be aware of and manipulate chronoton particles. The result, excuse me, is apparent super speed, enabling her to attempt in between instances, moving backwards and forward in increasingly smaller measurements, to the point that something about that just threw me off. The result is apparent super speed, enabling her to attempt in between instances. Moving backwards and forward in increasing smaller measurements, to the point that the world essentially can stand still for her. She can even temporarily dwell in these instances, essentially existing in a pause-like state as she plans her next move and blinks in and out of existence to the perception of others. That's dangerous. That's definitely dangerous. That reminds me of what the Flash can do now, where he's just like, what was it? When he's like standing still, but he's like, yeah, it's weird. I forget the exact explanation, but it's a newer thing that he has going on. Young Loss, Tarek, Simon, and John, welcome. We are talking about characters in the Indie Breakdown Indie Versus group. If you guys are not following that Facebook group, definitely join it now. Get these votes in regards to these character matchups that's going on. We're doing 8v8s going between all of your favorite indie comic book creators. We may have a team in there. Definitely stay tuned to find out what teams jump in tomorrow. We have something very awesome coming up at the end of this 8v8 that we can't wait to share. So definitely join in so that you're the first to hear about that. And of course, again, make your vote, get to know some of your favorite indie comic book creators and their comics and characters, because the Indie Breakdown is a show where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters, power stats, and abilities, and get them ready for what this is, the Indie Versus. We have an official show that's on YouTube and Spotify, so definitely check that out ASAP. We have the How Strong Is series, which is just a breakdown of the characters based on the interviews that we did with everybody. And then, of course, we have the full interviews that you guys can check out. Hey, from the beer belly of Illinois, otherwise known as Forgotten Year, home of Western Illinois University, and soon the world's largest Monopoly board. Say that. Well, welcome. We're out here in Atlanta, Georgia. So, yeah, what's happening, bro? Let's see. Next up, we have Roulette, a martial artist, assassin, and super spy who was physically enhanced and trained from the first manifestation of her powerful precog and localized manipulation. Y'all in trouble with these manipulation, reality manipulation, essentially a luck power to be a killer. But she rescued and turned towards heroism, a daredevil and thrill seeker. Her body and physiology has been augmented to super soldier levels, and this, coupled with her abilities, grants her truly superhuman reflexes, pre-natural fighting capabilities, and weapon mastery. So she's pretty much the closest to like a regular person so far in this group, which again, nothing bad, nothing whatever. These characters, Sir Absolute can replicate his abilities. So really quick. So this is anybody that's just not jumping into this conversation about Sir Absolute right now, checking in on some creator-owned comics. Yeah, so definitely, I tell you what, Midnight Comics is definitely what we want to be. Definitely check us out, but also join our group, the Indie Breakdown, Indie Versus, because you are going to be able to get introduced to so many indie comic book creators and their stories consistently daily. People that are just now coming up in the space that are working on books, and people that have been in the space for a while that have several books out. So you have plenty of options, plenty of opportunity to not only get to know these people, not only get to know their characters, but have an easy kind of database and encyclopedia, be able to dive into these characters and their stories. So definitely jump into that group. Again, it's only on Facebook right now. We do have an Indie Breakdown versus page on Instagram, but we're not worried about that right now. I did just throw that out there in case anybody wasn't interested in doing that, just kind of gauging. But jump in on the Facebook group because a lot of conversation happens there. Everybody is open to answering questions about their characters, what all they can do, and we really do deep dives on these characters. So I really do enjoy these kind of conversations and stuff like that. Anyway, I am responding to Nathan Rouse, the creator of the One for All team over there. Again, it's a typo. It says all for one. It's actually supposed to be one for all. We're talking about his character Sir Absolute versus Validus. Validus is the character down here in the corner right here, who basically is able to, he's like old school Superman. He's able to just kind of pull abilities out of nowhere as needed. So my question to you now, again, in a random encounter, right, is he going to, like, what would he replicate, right? How would he know to replicate Validus's need or consistent growth? I'm gonna call it like a Zenkai boost, except in the creation of power. Like his Zenkai boost is creating powers on the fly, right? So how would Sir Absolute know that's what's happening? Because to them, in a random encounter, right, he's just gonna be like, damn, he has a lot of abilities that are able to counter me. How would he? How can we rationalize a thought process that he would just replicate that specific ability? How does the replication work for Sir Absolute? I'm very curious to know. So next character really quick, and we'll come back to that. It's a reaction his body makes. He's not in control of it. It's a defense mechanism. Now, again, so what I'll also do is attribute that to the Zenkai Buu. So I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. Who isn't a Dragon Ball fan, right? Absolutely. Would love to have that conversation. If you would like to go ahead and DM me, John, we can definitely dive deeper into that. Anybody that's watching on Facebook that want to know what he just said, he said, when I have a moment, I would like to talk about self-publishing, working on a couple of things myself. Definitely DM us if you ever have questions about that. We will be glad to help as it relates to that. So definitely DM me and we will get that conversation going, John. I'm definitely open to that. It's a react. So back to Zenkai boost, right? Again, I'm using Dragon Ball references because everybody knows Dragon Ball, right? But what is a Zenkai boost, right? And again, there's nothing new under the sun, right? So a lot of these things are similar. So all this will lead to my question, but quick context, right? Zenkai boost in Dragon Ball, right? Anytime they get hurt, they get stronger. It's their body's natural defense system. However, right, it's because they are able to sense the threat, right, that their body adapts and gets them strong enough to face said threat. Right. So that's one of the things that a lot of people in the Dragon Ball community realize, that why didn't future Gohan get any stronger against the androids? Because you can't sense the energy of the android, right? So his body did not adapt or do the Zenkai boost that everybody else got in order to get stronger to face that threat, because his self-defense mechanism, the Saiyan Zenkai boost, did not or was not aware of how strong it needed to get. So that's why he didn't increase in strength too terribly. But then when Vegeta was fighting against Frieza, going all the way back here, right, he gets blasted through the chest by Krillin. Dende heals him. Now he's strong enough to face against that form of Frieza before he finished that final transformation, right? But then it's like, oh crap, I'm still not strong enough to beat this version of Frieza because his body did not do that, right? So all of that to say, in regards to the reaction of his body, and it's not something he can control, I'm assuming his body would need to be aware of said threat and what is happening. So, with that assumption in mind, how is that going to work? Right? Because again, if he's just, if I'm, if he's just getting stronger to damage you, right? That's not like how would your character know where it's just like he could have just been holding back, not, oh, I can stack my power now because I needed to, or so on and so forth. But so long-winded way of saying, how would his body be aware of the fact that he is pulling new abilities out of his behind? How would his body react to that? I'm curious to know. Would it be like a Darwinistic adaptation or mental thing? Exactly what I was thinking, John. Awesome, thanks. Like a sixth sense, right? So yeah, I want to dive into that in a second. It's like a fight or flight. Etheric synthesis is the power. Recycling, repurposing, redistributing of all energy. If you add that to personal customization, it's basically power replication or hairs jumping up on your leg. Okay, like so I get it to a certain degree. So like if Soul and Sir Absolute were going against each other, and Soul is punching heavy, and then then he starts keeping up, and then Soul pulls energy from the sun, and he's a little bit stronger. Sir Absolute is like, I see what you did there. I can replicate that, and I can learn to maneuver that better, right? But like he did a very obvious, I'm not glowing and having the power of the sun, to obviously pulling energy from the sun and then attacking and showcasing that he's stronger. So that makes sense. But I want to know if somebody is not obviously Kamehameha waving you, you know what I'm saying? And just it's just naturally a part of them. The reaction reacts at the speed of the cause of the effect. So you're saying, sake of conversation, if he decides all of a sudden, I think that to defeat this guy, I need to utilize a poison touch. The moment that he gets touched by the poison, his body would react to that so that he no longer can be poisoned. And then because of that reaction, Validus automatically says, well, poison's not going to work. I'm going to dump you into a black hole with my fist. And then he punches and creates a black hole. His body would then react and make sure that he wouldn't be affected by said black hole. Is that kind of like how the basis of that back and forth exchange would be, is what I'm curious to know. Dabamam, welcome. Again, we're talking, no, there isn't a thought involved at his body does it. Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's his body. So Validus would be kind of just as needed, like this is what's happening. But you're saying, but is that correct though? Like, is his body gonna automatically react in that sense? While Validus is kind of thinking like, yeah, this didn't happen, so I got to do this now in order to counteract that. But then Sir Absolute's body is just going to continuously react like that, like, oh, he punched me with a black hole, his body's gonna be like, I can't be hurt by black holes. And then he's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna, whatever the case is, I'm gonna de-age you, and then his body does not age, so on and so forth. Is it gonna be constantly his body adapting in instance? Okay, got you. I'm on the same page now. So now that's dangerous. That's dangerous. But now we gotta go back to the reality warpers, and I don't want to harp on this too terribly long. But if somebody did reality warping and said that you don't exist anymore, or you can't do that anymore, right? What instance does this ability have on it? Or is reality manipulation? Is he immune to reality manipulation? Let's dive into that. Is that something that's actually built into the character? Of course, is that currently something that's, obviously this is a very specific question that I just want to know. Is he immune to have you thought about whether or not he is immune to reality and dimensional manipulation? Like, obviously, things that are within time, space, and matter, right? Like, obviously, all the stuff that we are aware of, right? Obviously, he's not getting destroyed by supernovas, poison, that type of thing. But if somebody is literally able to rewrite reality, as long as the concept space exists, he exists. The concept of space exists, he exists. But I'm saying, like, if they decide to say, you know what, again, the reality warper, he sees Validus over there struggling. Again, everybody's here, everybody's 8v8. I have a character that does something similar. He can take the same power of his enemy only if he is hit by that power. His power works by absorbing the kinetic energy. Right, but a reality warper, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, what kinetic energy is that letting off? Right. Again, if I'm going to use anybody in mainstream media right now, we see Wanda like literally removing mouths from people. What if she says you ain't got no power, like the no more mutant situation? what is that ability's response? Like, can it respond to something that is completely rewriting history? Can his body can his natural reaction prevent, what is the wording I'm looking for? Is this ability so powerful that it can ignore changes in reality itself? That's what I want to know. There we go. I think I worded that correctly that time. Is that ability so powerful that it ignores any rewriting of reality? Very nuanced question, right? I don't think there's anybody in the verse that we know of so far in your verse that's doing that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in regards to this matchup, there's nobody that we saw that's rewriting or reality, if you would. So I'm definitely curious to know if there's anything like that. As long as energy is used, yes. Hmm. Now, I guess this is more of a question of for Michael Wynn, but it's just like, is there energy that would be used? Like, would we consider Wanda saying no more mutants an energy projection? You know what I mean? Like, is that how that works? Or even like Thanos snapping, right? And removing everybody. Maybe that's not even a good idea. Like, even just with the reality stone and stuff like that, would we consider and maybe, right? But would we consider those constructs energy in the same sense of like an energy projection or anything of that nature? I am curious to know. Durandal, man, we stayed on that for a while. We stayed on that for a while. Sorry. So Durandal, a warrior from an ancient civilization that may have been the source behind the legends of Mu, Lemuria, or Atlantis. Durandal was bonded with the shard of cosmic Franklin Richards, son of Reed and Sue. Exactly, absolutely. So Franklin Richards pulled some mess. It's an electrical current to fire the synapses for you to make that decision. So yes, technically. Okay, like that's hmm. That's man, that's a broken character, bro. That's a broken character. Durandal was so yeah, that's well, if that's the case, then honestly that means one for all wins because there's literally like it could just be Sir Absolute versus all of them. Then like yeah, that's it. Like that's literally it because if every single move, we're still gonna read the rest of the characters, if every single move can be if energy is involved in any sense, if brainwaves are involved, he's able to counter, then yeah, then no, then then that team wins. There's no that character's too broken. Like that's it. That's game over. But Durandal was bonded with the shard of a cosmic energy source known as the Shard of Creation and was charged with defense of this reality as a sword of creation. The shard grants tremendous cosmic energy control, empowering her with a variety of effects, such as force fields, healing energy, and healing energy constructs, shields, energy manipulation, minor telepathy, faster than light speed travel, superhuman strength and abilities on landscape, shaking levels. Her skill as a fighter is formidable, and she is capable of forming various melee weaponry, such as swords and spears, from the cosmic energies at her disposal, which are themselves capable, of great destructive power when wielded by her. This guy here, Super Giant, King Elo, welcome. Duck Chops, welcome, everybody in here. We're currently still talking about Michael Wynn's Aegis Sector versus Nathan Rouse's One for All team. And honestly, after this discussion that we just had, it seems like Sir Absolute from the One for All team could solo all of your favorite verses because he could adapt to a level complete unfathomable levels. So Supergiant, the Titanic Supergiant, is a former metahuman criminal whose abilities of size, strength, growth became linked to the essence of the largest supergiant red stars known to exist, granting him a superhuman physiology, astronomical levels of growth, physical durability, and size, strength towards gargantuan scales. He's got control over his own personal gravity well, which adds the ability to exude, adding pressure against opponents. Excuse me, further enhance his strength or blunt attempts to harm him. Wait, added pressure against opponents. Further, I'm assuming that's supposed to say further enhancing his strength or blunt attempts to harm. Typos, right? This is fun. Hey guys. Okay, hey, what's going on, Michael? So you heard everything just now. I want to know your thoughts on Sir Absolute and his reactions to reality manipulation, dimensional manipulation. I need to hear your thoughts. I want to know. I want to know. Sorry, I did that in a hurry. No, 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 no. You're perfectly fine. You're perfectly fine. I want to know your thoughts on this. Is there any possible way that he can bypass this? That's like honestly, I'm gonna scroll up from Supergiant really quick. I'm gonna come back down. But like honestly, at the moment, Validus was, I thought, going to be the guy that was going to take on these characters. But Grimoire, it sounds like your best hope to take on a character like Sir Absolute. So I'm curious to know your thoughts on this character's abilities to kind of react and kind of ignore abilities as long as any energy is present in the creation or execution of said abilities. I am curious to hear your thoughts on that as we go back to reading the powers and abilities of Supergiant. So, while he's in those altered physiology and internal energies protect him from psychic manipulation and render attempts to alter his mind extraordinarily difficult. Furthermore, he can discharge his stellar energies through his eyes for powerful distant assaults with wide scope. So, at the end of the day, right, honestly, a majority of Michael's characters of the Aegis sector could defeat the one for all characters. Absolutely, right? Of course, when we're doing versus matches, and I got to continue to preface this, right? Because the wide consensus is when you do versus matches, we're usually talking about matches that end in death, and that's not the case. If you can get knocked out, you can get captured, incapacitated in any form. You don't have to simply be killed. So, with that being said, going back to this versus match, I wholeheartedly believe that the Aegis sector can defeat this group. But the biggest question, the biggest point of contention at the moment is, excuse me for a second, it's getting dark. I need to close these windows. The biggest point of contention here is, can they get past Sir Absolute? And I gotta know if you guys are still in here, Michael and Nathan, I gotta know what are the responses, right? I want to know what is the response of Grimoire seeing this. And of course, since Sir Absolute isn't necessarily um thinking about the reaction and it's just sort of happening, I gotta know, mostly from you, Michael. I gotta know, what is Grimoire's reaction to something like this, right? Are they gonna be like, full retreat, we lost, game over, guys, we tried? What is his response? What is gonna happen? Until we get that response, unfortunately for the Aegis sector, I would have to go ahead and turn around and give this to the one for all team, because there's no conceivable way in my eyes. But again, I don't know the characters as well as the creators. I don't know how anybody is getting past somebody that can literally adapt and react subconsciously to any and every known attack. Jupiter can also take everyone to the spirit world or expand the length of the thought, which valid. However, we know Validus, based on kind of that description, would be able to kind of counter that because he would gain abilities as needed, right? So he would probably be adapt to that, which would probably throw Jupiter Man, or at least distract him enough to focus on fighting Validus now instead of utilizing that ability. So that one would be a toss-up and tough, because now that just turns that matchup into a 1v1 until, unfortunately, Jupiter Man would have to lose that match if Validus is continuously adapting to what Jupiter Man can do, right? So the only kink in this plan for Aegis sector is really Sir Absolute. Tavis, what's going on, man? What's going on? What's going on? Okay, kind of like Darwin from the X-Men. Exactly, but like on a multiversal scale from the sound of it. Because again, if you can ignore reality manipulation, that's like the I don't even know what to compare that to. That is levels unheard of. Like that's like, so same conversation, right? Like you brought up Darwin, like perfect example. Like Darwin, like his reaction to what the Hulk in one of those books was just like run. Like I can adapt to damn near anything, but his reaction of I don't remember which version of the Hulk, but the reaction was simply run, right? But from the sound of it with Sir Absolute would just be like, okay, I would just get stronger. I would just be stronger than him. The end. My body's going to adapt. I'm just stronger than him now. Game over. Right. So it's like I said multiverse World War Hulk. Thank you, Tavis. I have questions. Does Paladins have the essence of gods or their spirits or ghosts? That's a great question. That's a great question. So I'm assuming if he's getting his if he's getting abilities or help from an entity that's not necessarily flowing through his brain waves and stuff like that, he can get by him. Actually, no, I'm thinking of something else. You were talking about the spirit world. I'm getting ahead of myself. You're talking about the spirit world if he has access to these people at all. From the description, he is simply the embodiment of the myths of ancient Greek mythology. He's said to have access to the unfathomable power and is perhaps the single most powerful member of Aegis and weapon of deterrence. Oh, wait, he said something. So I'm trying to juggle a few things at once. So help me understand the question a bit more. I do have a general grasp of Sir Absolute from our talk back and forth versus Colossus, which I say Colossus takes pretty questionably, yeah. But as far as this, from what I'm gathering, is the question: can Grimoire overcome Sir Absolute's ability to adapt or grow stronger with his control over magic? Yes. So to dive into that really briefly, essentially, what Nathan said about his ability to adapt is so great, right? That essentially, and I'll give the play-by-play how I did a second ago, right? If somebody's, again, let's say somebody has a constant set of abilities, right? Hey, if I punch you, I can poison you. Automatically, his body, the moment it gets to the point where it's about to touch you or touches you, his body automatically reacts to a point where it says, I can no longer be poisoned. Then he comes in, so let's say now Sir Absolute's opponent decides to turn around and say, well, with my left hand, I'm going to punch you into a black hole. Like my hand is going to hit you so hard that it transforms into a black hole. But as it gets to him, right, that power of that black hole is now like, no, I can no longer be harmed or moved by black holes. Like instantaneously, his body is adapted and grows to that kind of extent, right? And so when we talked about reality manipulation, our question was, is that power so potent? Talking about Sir Absolute, is that reactive power and adaptability so potent that it would ignore reality manipulation and dimensional manipulation? And the question was, as long as there is any energy involved, yes. So even if the thought, the brain waves, the energy that it takes for you to think about utilizing this move, if that is felt or utilized, that means that his body would adapt and he would be able to ignore reality manipulation. So my question is, does it take energy? Is there thought process? Tell us the physiology of, essentially these of grimoire, right? These spells. Like obviously, I kind of compared him to the avatar of magic. Is his reality manipulation powerful enough to ignore? I don't know how to ask that. I don't know how to ask that. What's your response to an ability like that? Is really the question. What is Grimoire's response to an ability like that? Somebody that is able to potentially ignore the concepts of reality. Right. Okay. So does he have to say the spell, or does he just have access to it and just doesn't? Because then the next question is, right? I'm sorry, I didn't read Tavis's question. Or does that power extend to Greek primordial gods? If so, he can match Absolute. These are great questions, people. But yeah, if he doesn't have to say the spells, and so I personally didn't think he needed to say the spells, and I feel like because he's able to tap into the knowledge and the other beings that came before him, I feel like kind of like Avatar State, like he's just kind of like he can just clip it or lock in with them and just do stuff subconscious now. Because like if he's able to do like Avatar State stuff, of course we saw like I'm thinking about what's like the live action that just happened, which was pretty good. I enjoyed it. But like how he just tapped in and was Kyoshi for a hot second. Like, are you able to, what I mean? Like, is he tapping into the other magicians to that extent to where he's just like, it's not even me anymore? Or is it just, hey, how do I do this? Oh, that's how you do it. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to say the spell. Like, how does his magic work? And again, what is your response to somebody that's able to react in that manner. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I hope you understood the question. John said it would have to be a character like Taskmaster to be able to blindly let his skills take over so his attacks are not read by this guy's power. No, but see, that's the thing, right? It's not even that he has to see and understand it. His body's natural reaction is to adapt and counter. So even though although Taskmaster can just do stuff willy-nilly and just kind of flip between different things, he's not his Sir Absolute's ability would be able to allow him to hone in on Taskmaster's ability. Like, oh, he's fighting with a bunch of random styles that I don't understand, but his body would understand it, right? So he automatically ultra instincts essentially any and every type of ability. What is the response to this type of fight? And of course, Michael, you know the characters that's in this 8v8. Do you have a response or answer for this? This was the match I really wanted to get to, guys, as you can tell. This is the match I really wanted to get to. If you guys want to see the actual matchup again, right here, we're in the Indie versus Indie breakdown group right now. That's it right there. If you guys need help, with that, there's the name of it. That's what it looks like. Join the group, place your votes, join the conversation, get to know your favorite indie comic book creators, their creations, their stories, and of course, follow us. Definitely check out the YouTube page where we interviewed every last one, not every last one, but we have 20 interviews up right now where we've interviewed various publishers, creators, learn more about the characters, did breakdowns of the characters, all that other good stuff. Everything you need to know about your favorite indie comic book characters, power sets, and abilities, we did that. Check out the short version, check out the interview with the creators, and then check out the versus match. We had everybody on talking trash. We've done 2 of those, technically 3 videos, but we split one of them into 2 different nights, and then the last one just passed a couple weeks ago. Awesome conversations and all that other good stuff. Everybody that's jumping in, welcome. We are having a really good conversation right now. We're having a really good conversation right now about these 2 teams right now. She doesn't have to say spells, so she is. Yeah, that's pretty dangerous. But I mean, even if she doesn't have to do the spells by definition, and basically throughout the course of the conversation that we had just now, the fact that she's been thinking about utilizing the spells would still prevent it from being effective from a character like Sir Absolute. Am I correct in assuming that? Because if not, then that changes things a little bit. I think I understand what you're saying, but I think my answer would be that magic does not necessarily have to target an individual directly in order to achieve a certain effect. So what if, for example, Grimoire sealed the entire area around Sir Absolute in an infinite maze or mirror dimension, which continuously folds time and space back on itself, preventing someone from finding their way out or teleporting out? The issue with the character like Dr. Fate, Dr. Strange, and the Doctor from there we go. That's what he said right there. So, I forgot that I could do that. I could have just been posting this so you guys could see all of that the whole time. Oh, that hurt. Well, that's a great question. Nathan, Sir Absolute, is he able to get out of something like that? Actually, I think he is. Actually, no. I don't see anything for that. No, yes, I do. His etheric senses allows him to manipulate the very fabric of reality, recycling, redistributing, replacing, or manifesting energy with the mere thoughts, shaping the world to his will. So he's able to come out of that. So now it's kind of whether, right, to what degree is Sir Absolute able to manipulate the fabric of reality? But again, if somebody's able to do reality manipulation, right, it's the reality to your understanding, and that's always the interesting thing when we talk about characters that can manipulate reality. If I change reality as you know it, right, your understanding is that's yes, because he can adapt to exist out of these realities, but can he adapt to escape? Right, so then it goes down to degrees in time and teamwork, right? So but right, Nathan. So my question now is, how do you react to a new infinite reality? Right? Like, I don't know how to. What did the guy that makes Fallout say? His name Todd Howard. It just works. It just works. When talking about Fallout 76. I think his name's Todd. Todd Howard? Hold on. I'm about to look it up on my other computer here. Yeah, Todd Howard. Yeah, yeah. So from the sound of it, it sounds like in regards to that ability, if Michael's character, if Grimoire seals him into an entire area in an infinite maze or mirror dimension, his body will react and say, "No, I no longer exist in that new reality. I have decided to exist back in the reality that I came from," and just ignores that. Boom, I'm back, and now fight resumes. He'd exist in the presence of the energy he's locked in if it's the synapses of Grimoire. Wait. He'd exist in the presence of the energy he's locked on if it's the synapses of Grimoire is there, so is he. And you said that too. Okay. So it's like a targeting system. So it's like, hey, so like when we're playing like Tenkaichi 3, right? Like we're playing Dragon Ball Tenkaichi 3, right? And I'm locked on. It don't matter where you fly on the map. I'm locked onto you. I don't care if you're hiding behind buildings, under the water. I'm locked in. I see you, right? But on top of that, even if I'm able to see you from an infinite distance, not only that, because of his reality abilities, his etheric synthesis, he's able to say, I don't exist in there. Not negating that it exists, but I'm negating my existence within it. And I wouldn't suggest fighting him as a team. Yeah, it sounds like the only way to get Sir Absolute to stand down is to find a loved one and threaten their livelihood. Honestly, I don't think that would work either. Because again, with this ability, he would change reality and be like, "You're not holding a loved one anymore." You know what I'm saying? Like that wouldn't. You're holding me now. You know what I mean? Like now what? What are you gonna do now? You know what I mean? Like it's. Yeah, that's with the character that is on that scale. He, that's broken character. I think I said it earlier. That's broken character. That's like a One Punch Man in his universe, which is like he's just broken. He's just broken. There's nothing. What if Grimoire can multiply his energy signature infinitely to have him guessing which one is the real one? Again, based on the description, though, and again, correct me at any point, Nathan, because at the end of the day, this is your character. Correct me at any point. But based on this description, hold on. Based on this description and how this is being described right now, there is. Hold on. I'm grabbing my charger. I'm so sorry. There we go. I'm back. I was grabbing my charger. Based on the description, no, that wouldn't work either. In my personal opinion, again, just correct me if I'm wrong, Nathan. But even if Grimoire multiplied his energy infinitely, he would say, "No, I only see the real one." Right? Because again, going back to what he said a couple comments ago, and I'll post it up here for everybody to see as well. He'd exist in the presence of the energy he's locked on if it's the synapses of Grimoire, right? So again, if he multiplies himself, he could say again with kind of that. This was the question Tavis put just a second ago. Everybody that's watching on Instagram and all that other stuff. Yeah. So yeah, he would just be like, I don't acknowledge the copies. You know what I mean? Like that's done. It's done. See, I be understanding. I be paying attention to y'all's characters, bro. I understand. I understand what y'all saying. I feel like I'm asking the right questions to understand these characters and explain it properly. But yeah. So John said, yeah, Sir Absolute is just too overpowered. What you just said makes everything obsolete, and that is correct. That is correct. That's dangerous. That's a broken character, and that's one of those characters like you hear about like the presence, right? Or how you would explain the one above all, and that's why they don't get involved because it's just like they couldn't level the entire landscape. There's nothing you can do against the kid. Although, wait a second, actually, I think the one above all has been defeated or something. Which one is the Marvel one? The one above all, right? Yeah, the one above all has been stronger than the one above all. I feel like was it a version of Thanos or it was a version of some character that was stronger than the one above all. Hold on. Let me fix this real quick. Let me look. Who has defeated the one above all? Nobody? Why do I feel like somebody did? I feel like this is a recent thing. Yeah. The one above all was one of the many victims of Thanos in his eternal quest to please death. Yeah, he was obliterated along with his fellow Celestials by Thanos when he stabbed Black Bolt to death in order to use his destructive voice as a weapon. Excuse me. Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. Yeah, that's insane. So yeah, but like so better example. So the presence would be the character that Sir Absolute practically is. Like you won't see him in a fight. He will not lose a fight. He is. What is the saying? There's a saying. I think it was. I think, therefore I am, and I feel like that's exactly what the powers is. I feel like that's what Sir Absolute is. I think, therefore I am, and that's it. That's it. That's game over. Wait, someone with the power of absolution, maybe they would have a chance. Every change Sir Absolute makes, someone with the absolute power can make it worthless. With the opposite power can make it worthless. The one below all, which is a version of the whole. Nah, bro. Because again, based on these descriptions, hold on, right, as explained, I thought this was up to mostly say JLA authority level. Otherwise, I'd have had Colossus team up with Aegis. You know what? That is actually absolutely correct. That's actually absolutely correct. It was supposed to be up to a certain level based on that first post that Lonzo made related to this. They were only supposed to be Superman levels of strength, though one could argue that technically his strength level does not exceed that until his body needs him to exceed that. Oh my god, reality warpers are so frustrating. But like let's go back to him. So I don't want to speak falsely here. But like his supernatural, yeah, so possess physical prowess beyond the limits of mortal man with strength to move mountains, speed to outrun the wind, and durability to withstand the fiercest of blows. So technically, he does fall under the protocol of that. But if anybody pushes him, he will then exceed that. So it's one of those hacksability situations. Oh my god, reality warpers, y'all get on my nerve. Y'all get on my nerve. So, Jesus. He said, Tavis said, what if Betrayus helped them to help Team Aegis? LOL, kidding. Okay, the crown above all. Is that a character for real? Am I bugging? What is the crown above all? I feel so out of touch with comics right now. I don't know where the hell that came from. I was messing with the kids earlier. Anybody in here familiar with Shawty Lo? It was they was sitting there looking at me like, what? Yeah, I look like an old man to these poor kids. Jesus. The crown above all things. Oh, okay, Enigma. Okay. I don't know. It's so crazy, man. So it again comes back to tactics and time. I agree. Wouldn't obsolete the opposite of absolute? Absolute. Yeah, but again, so like the thing is, from my understanding, John, as it relates to this character, like there's no winning. Like we'll nip it in the bud now, right? There's no winning, right? Because what's going to happen? What is going to happen is his natural bodily function is going to say, I don't acknowledge that. That's it. His body literally is, I think, therefore I am. I don't acknowledge the infinite copies of Grimoire. I don't acknowledge that your power is X, Y, and Z. His character just goes past it. Obsolete Studios, what's going on? What's going on? So we're talking about Sir Absolute we're talking about Nathan Rouse versus Michael Wynn right now. We're talking about One for All versus Aegis Sector. We got Michael Wynn on the Facebook. We've got Nathan over here on Facebook. We got Tavis on the Facebook. We've got all this going on right now. Tavis, I am curious. You're still in here, man. I want to talk about Power Scaler for like just a brief moment, man. Are these like we've listed the powers, right? We've listed the powers. Where would you place them? We've talked about it. But yeah, that's what we were talking about. But yeah, John, he's done. It's game over. It's game over, John. So there's no battle in that. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it is not up to me. It is up to you. It is up to you. He said, "Thank you. We get it. Hey, hey. I'm up. I'm making sure everybody get it. I'm making sure everybody get it." So it's up to you guys to determine who would win this Indy versus matchup. Technically, we were supposed to end at 8, but here we are at 9:12, and I'm still live talking about these characters. So we have 3 matchups that's going on right now, right? Join the group, get your vote on. You could do a like for one for all. Again, it's a little bit of a typo here, but you can do a like for one for all. That's Sir Absolute, Jupiter Man, all of them. And then we've got Aegis Sector, Michael Wynn. So Nathan Rouse, creator of Idolverse, Jupiter Man, all that other stuff, which I think is still going on at Indiegogo right now. So y'all definitely check that out. And I'm looking at my phone as if I'm not live on my computer. So yeah, definitely do that. And then we have Michael Wynn's Aegis Sector. He's working on an animation right now, so definitely check that out. Tavis, catch you later, brother. Catch you later. Thank you for jumping in. So definitely drop a heart for Aegis Sector as well. Then we have scrolling down, and this is the group up here, Indie Versus / Breakdown. So definitely join in there. I appreciate you, Lloyd and Mr. Wynn, for this awesome time. Absolutely. Thank you guys for jumping in, dropping in some more information about your characters and listening. Yeah, this has been awesome. The next matchup that we had, or the previous matchup that we had that's still going, drop your vote. Oh, I forgot to see who was winning. I'm sorry. Hold on. Who's winning right now? Right now, Aegis Sector is winning by 2. So again, it's not up to me, but that's who's winning at the moment. So you're only 2 away. That can sway. By tomorrow, the next matches will be up and the winners will be announced from this one. So, 12 o'clock. That's it. Technically at 8 o'clock it was it. At the end of this live, that's I'll give it until 10 o'clock, but then that'll be it. Next up, we had the Elementals by Imminent Comics, and we had the Paladins by Icarus Metro. That's Prince Jackson and Calvin Chambers, respectively. Currently, the Elementals by 2. That's who's in the lead right now. And then, last but not least, we had Chess by Page One Comics and Page Alfred, and the last line by Constant Hustle Comics and Lawrence King. Currently in the lead right now. This one is the last line by 3. So you guys have the opportunity and have until 10 o'clock to make a determination on who would win an Indie versus matchup. Thank you much. Nathan said, thank you for the shout out. Much appreciated. This was fun. Thank you guys. Thank y'all. We want to do this on a more consistent basis. So these weekly matches, we'll have some conversations and stuff like this. And we'll probably get to the point where we'll actually bring you guys on and kind of continue this conversation like such. So if this is something that you guys want to continue to see, please let us know, message us, or just drop a comment or whatever like that under this or any of the posts and stuff like that. Like, we want to see more of these lives and stuff. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. So, again, if you guys enjoyed this, please join the group. Continue to stay active. Follow us on all social media. We're Midnight X Comics everywhere except for Facebook and YouTube, where it's just Midnight Comics. And don't forget to join the Indie Breakdown /Versus. And you can see all of our previous interviews and breakdowns of characters, including our own characters, on our YouTube, or again, you can just visit midnightcomics.org to check that out. Last bit of housekeeping things before we close up. Gotta get some food. I'll message you about self-publishing tomorrow. John, thank you for coming in. I can't wait to have that discussion with you. Definitely message us so we can kind of just carve out some time and talk about that. Thank you so much. Everybody that's listening still, some last-minute updates and housekeeping stuff. The Kickstarter rewards for the Unbeloved have hit people's doors, so I want to know if you guys got it. I know that you guys got it. I want to know what you think of our manga, The Unbeloved. I know that people that got the volume, however, are still waiting on theirs. There's 3 volumes that still need to go out. However, the people that got these wonderful stories here, y'all please enjoy. Those should be out. I know the 3 of you guys that got the volume, which is this beautiful thing here. Of course, yours is going to be bound. Mine's is not. Oh, there we go. This wonderful, wonderful manga should be hitting your doors soon as well, within the next week or so. So be on the lookout for that. So all Unbeloved orders should be out by next week. Very excited about that. So that Kickstarter and everything that entails, is done. So what the heck is next? Okay. So what's next? Next up is actually going to be Soul. So if you guys haven't caught up on Soul or don't know what that is, Soul is about a gentleman by the name of Soul Jackson. He's got 2 Egyptian deities inside of him. He's our flagship character, and he's on a journey, a self-discovery journey to figure out who he is, what the powers he has. But in the meantime, you have characters like Anubis, the embodiment of chaos, Isfet, and other Egyptian deities after him, trying to figure out how he has the powers of Amon-Ra. That was a terrible explanation. That's not the explanation I usually do. I just had a whole brain fart in the middle of explanation. I think dropping what I just dropped actually threw me off. But anyway, Soul is an awesome character. Check him out. Flagship character. We have a breakdown and stuff of him as well. That's probably going to be next. If you don't know what Soul is, definitely head to midnightcomics.org. Again, he is the community fan favorite character of the Midnight Comics camp. It's followed by the Gray. Speaking of the Gray, we will be doing a pre-order event for the Gray soon, as well as issue 2 is done. Issue 3 is getting colored, and my boy Between Magic and Dreams just joined in. What's going on, boss? How you been doing, bro? So yeah, a lot of things coming out of the Midnight Comics camp. As promised during our 3-year celebration last year, there was going to be several stories that we dropped this year. The first one was going to be The Unbeloved. Next up was going to be Soul, then The Gray, and then hopefully God Hand. I can tell you now there's been slight delays on God Hand. We did secure an artist for God Hand. However, due to scheduling conflicts, it will not release at the time that we had hoped. So, God Hand may, big maybe, get pushed back to the top of next year. However, you have already gotten the Unbeloved. You will be able to see Soul in the Gray this year. So more on that soon. We have a lot of other projects that we are part of. That'll be announced soon. So I'm very excited about that. So anyway, join the mailing list if you haven't already at midnightcomics.org to get yourself a free copy, digital copy of Soul, since we talked about him already. You can get a free copy of Soul digitally to your mailbox as soon as you join the mailing list. Of course, you'll be able to get a bunch of other goodies like discounts and all that other good stuff as well. What else? Free Soul #1 comic. Soul #2 pre-order. Soul #3 pre-order event coming soon. We have the Gray #2, Soul #3 pre-order event, Gray #2 pre-order event, God Hand potentially being moved back. Am I missing anything? I don't think I'm missing anything. So, that being said, stay tuned for a lot more. Oh, be on the lookout because we have Jupiter Man versus Avora Lee. That's coming up soon. I'm going to be finishing up writing that scenario. And that's it. That's it. Guys, I've had you on here for over an hour. I truly appreciate each and every one of you for coming on, listening, being involved in this group. We're at 337 members in the Indie Breakdown versus group, and I can't say thank you enough. This has been a passion thing for the last 2 years that we finally made into a group in, I want to say, November of last year. And you guys have been showing up and showing out, and very excited. And I love learning about you guys' character. So thank you guys for continuing to share and allowing all of us to experience your characters. And I'm inviting everybody, if you have a character, if you have a favorite character, if you're just fans of indie comic book characters, join the group, interact with your favorite creators, and learn more about these characters, because our questions, and I'm talking about me as a fan, not as a creator as well, but our questions are helping develop characters, right? Like certain things that you may have thought of, others may not have. And it might be like, holy crap, thank you for that, right? Thank you. I used to downplay my character Soul all the time, and I'm going to close out here. I used to downplay Soul all the time, like, he's strong enough to do this, but not that. But then he's casually shrugging off blasts or impacts as strong as nuclear or hydrogen bombs, casually, no scratches, no nothing. So he's not weak, he's strong, right? So play on that, right? So anyway, done here. Thank you guys for tuning in, and remember, until next time, midnight is coming.